So guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. So guys, there's talk about about Chris Eubank fighting Gennady Golovkin. Someone's asked me about this as well a week ago. I didn't do a video on it. Thought I'll address the issue. Is Gennady Golovkin still too good for Chris Eubank Jr.? Is that fight, obviously this is a fight, let me tell you about the backstory. Chris Eubank Jr. in 2016, Chris Eubank was supposedly gonna fight Gennady Golovkin. Chris Eubank told everyone he wants Golovkin, he wants to fight Golovkin. He was gunning for that fight, and then, Eddie Hearn and them guys put the offer out there to them, and it seemed like that they wanted it, and it looked like everything was going to get done. And unfortunately, they just didn't come with terms. Eddie Hearn basically put his side of the story out that Chris Eubank and his dad were being difficult. They wanted to change, this X, Y, and Z. And the fight just didn't materialize, and Kell Brooks stepped in instead of Chris Eubank. Which was a shame, because I really wanted to see Kell Brook fight Jesse Vargas for a unification fight in the welterweight division. And it's sad, really, because that fight between Golovkin and Kell Brook probably, in my opinion, ended Kell Brook's reign as a world-level fighter. And Chris Eubank, after that, I think he went into obviously the World Boxing Super Series, and he got beat by Groves. But then he's had some good wins, been a bit inactive for me. But since then, obviously, Golovkin was in his absolute prime when he fought Brook. Whereas now Golovkin's 39 years of age. So Golovkin's not the same Golovkin. So with Chris Eubank, Roy Jones, he's now working with Roy Jones. Under the tutelage of Roy Jones, would Chris Eubank have any kind of chance against Golovkin? Especially now that Golovkin's 39. I actually think it would be a decent fight. Some people think that, Golovkin, I would favor Golovkin to win the fight, and probably by stoppage still, because I think Golovkin's a way better boxer than Chris Eubank. I think he's just technically better. I think he's a bigger puncher, and I don't think Chris Eubank really has enough power to keep Golovkin off. He has fast hands, but the only worry is I just don't think he can keep Golovkin off. And Golovkin, for me, is technically better. He's got a good jab, he's got a great right hand, he's got great body shots. I still think that he just knows too much for Chris Eubank. But I do think Eubank is very tough, got a great engine, great athlete, puts his punches together well. But again, I just think Golovkin's still too good. At 39, I still think Golovkin will be too much. I actually like the fight, though. I think it's a good fight. I won't mind that fight. Again, I don't know whether Golovkin will be interested in that fight, because, we know that Golovkin's looking at that Murata fight. And I don't know why he's so keen on that Murata fight. Is it because it's a big payday? Is it because he wants to become unified and he looks at Murata as an easy link, and he knows by becoming unified there's a great chance that maybe Canelo would come down to fight him? Now, Canelo's already... See, here's the thing with Golovkin. If Golovkin has no ambition to move up to 168, then I think you should forget about the Canelo fight, because Canelo's already said that he's not going to come down to 160. Now, maybe if Golovkin was able to win all the belts and become undisputed, maybe Canelo would think about coming down to 160. But if Golovkin doesn't have any aim in fighting Andrade and Charlo, he's not going to be able to do that. So I don't know what... I personally think Golovkin should start fighting all these guys. Now, Chris Eubank would be a good fight for Golovkin, because it'd be a big payday. And it'll be a fight that he'd be favoured to win. But I don't think Chris Eubank... Even now, I still think Golovkin would be too good for Chris Eubank. I do. I know some people think that. Some people actually think Chris Eubank has a very good chance. I think that he would make the fight competitive. I think it wouldn't be a complete blowout like people think, but I definitely would favour Golovkin. And probably late by stoppage as well, because I just think Eubank gets hit a lot. And although he's got a very good chin, I just don't think against Golovkin you can get hit that much and not get worn down. I saw against Groves, I felt like Groves got injured at the end, but Groves was wearing Eubank down, and Golovkin's a different beast to Groves. Now, obviously, Groves is bigger than Golovkin, so that by him leaning on him and the sheer size and etc. But I just think Golovkin's a brute. He's just an animal. So even at 39, he's still a problem. He's still dangerous. He's still technically very good, and I just think he beats Eubank still. So I think it would be a good fight. I think here's the thing. Eubank needs to prove to us how good he is. Eubank needs to have these type of fights. Eubank needs to fight Golovkin. We need Eubank to be involved. Eubank needs to fight an Andrade. Andrade might be too... For me, Golovkin has a better style for Eubank. I don't think he beats either Andrade or Golovkin, but I think Golovkin's style, his come-forward style, would suit Eubank. Eubank likes that. The only problem is Golovkin's the very best at that style, and he's tough as nails, and he punches very hard, and he's got a great chin. So this isn't Avni Yildirim. This isn't a guy that's coming forward with not great skill and not the greatest chin. This is a guy that's got a great chin. He's very good in putting punches together. He's very crisp. He punches very hard. So Eubank, although Golovkin is coming forward and it suits Eubank, it may not suit Eubank because he may walk straight through Eubank. Like I said, haven't really seen... Eubank is tough though. We saw that against Groves. He can take punches. Eubank, has he ever been down in his career? I don't think he has. So he has got a great chin. He has got a great chin. There's no doubt about it. And Golovkin's not a huge middleweight as well. So Eubank will be able to absorb punches from Golovkin. No, I have no doubt about that. I just think Golovkin will wear him down. I think Golovkin will beat him up because I think Golovkin's so much superior. Is the superior boxer. Even though, people think that Golovkin's a pressure fighter, he's wild. No, Golovkin's a very good boxer. Way better than Chris Eubank. Eubank's got fast hands, but that's about it. Like, he's not a superior boxer. He hasn't got a better boxing IQ than Golovkin. He hasn't got better feet movement than Golovkin. Eubank might be a better athlete, and being a better athlete doesn't mean a better boxer. It's two completely different things. For me, Golovkin is a smarter boxer. He's got the better ring IQ. He knows how to control the ring. He knows how to put you under pressure, just being in front of you. He puts a lot of mental pressure on you. He makes you make mistakes. Because when he's on top of you, right, and he's hitting... Because remember, Golovkin's got serious power. So when he's hitting you with those shots, wow, this guy's got serious power. So you start making mistakes when he gets close to you. When you make mistakes, that's when he pounces. And he's got a great chin. He's great at cutting off the ring. And he's powerful. He's got serious power. So when you look at what he does, that's why he wins a lot of the time. Let's not forget when he fought Canelo. That was nip and tuck both times. And that's against Canelo. I know people think that Golovkin's got past it and he's not the fighter he was, but still, he's still very good. I've seen in his last couple of fights, he didn't look great against Derevyanchenko, but, he's still... Derevyanchenko is no joke. Derevyanchenko can fight. But if you look at the fight, Golovkin still... The only problem is with Golovkin, it's kind of like he fought Jacobs, fought Canelo, and then he's just fighting low-level guys. And I think DAZN are a bit angry. They want to see him fight top-level guys. We want to see Golovkin fight top-level guys. Even Eubank may not be considered top-level, but at least it's an improvement from what... Having said that, he fought Derevyanchenko, which is you'd say, would Eubank beat Derevyanchenko? I'm not so sure. So, to be fair, I don't know. Basically, we want to see Golovkin unify. We want to see Golovkin fight Andrade or someone like that. Even Eubank will be acceptable because it'll be somewhat of a name. But in terms of credibility, he needs to fight some of the other champions. And Golovkin's career, history might not look too great for Golovkin. And what I mean by that is, although he was a great fighter, when you go through his resume, you think about, well, who's he really beat? Because at the end of the day, on paper, he didn't beat Canelo. I know although a lot of people think he did, on paper, he hasn't beat him. Jacobs was a very close fight. Some people thought Jacobs beat Golovkin. This is, again, what I'm trying to say. History won't look too good to Golovkin because I do think when he fought a lot of those guys, Golovkin was on the slide. But unfortunately, at the time when Golovkin was in his prime, in his peak, nobody really wanted to fight him. He was very, very avoided. And he didn't really get those big fights. And that's what I feel for Golovkin, because who knows, if he had got Canelo 1 or 2 years prior to when he fought him, who knows, he may have even stopped him. But we never got to see it. Golovkin, I feel for Golovkin. I feel for Golovkin because, like I said, history won't. I think Paulie mentioned this, that history may not look too good for Golovkin, where, Canelo, those 2 fights, he got a draw and then he got a loss. He didn't get, and really, let's be honest, the first fight, he deserved that. But I think Golovkin himself has himself to blame as well. There was times where Golovkin could have gone up to 168 and fought Andre Ward. He could have gone up, if Canelo could go up to fight Sergey Kovalev, why couldn't Golovkin go up to fight Sergey Kovalev? There was many times where Golovkin could have gone up to 168 to fight a Froch, or, he should have, for me, he should have made that move. But unfortunately, Golovkin didn't. And that, for me, hurt his legacy, because I feel like Golovkin, a bit like Crawford, was content with what he was doing. He was making good money. He was fighting who they were putting in front of him. But he didn't, for me, dare to be great. Like Canelo now is looking for Beterbiev. Canelo can probably do that, because Canelo's also a cash cow. He's a big star, whereas Golovkin isn't. But nevertheless, still, Golovkin could have made more. He could have done more. For me, I think there was a perfect time for him to go up and fight Andre Ward, and he didn't do it. I think that would have, for me, that was a big fight. Maybe they weren't confident of winning. Maybe just thought Andre Ward was very big and probably too skillful, because I know Ward wanted that fight, because Ward was in the same position. Ward couldn't get big fights. So Ward would have definitely jumped over to fight, or definitely fought Golovkin at 168, because Ward didn't have those dance partners either. That's why he went up to 175 to fight Kovalev. Really, and Ward probably got more credit for beating Kovalev. Kovalev was bigger, so he may have not got the same credit fighting Golovkin. Golovkin was smaller than him, so he probably ended up getting more credit in beating Kovalev. But Golovkin had a great opportunity to go up and fight a Ward, or even a Kovalev for that matter. But unfortunately, he didn't ever. He stayed in his comfort zone, stayed at 160, and I think that really probably hurt his legacy, because, like I said, when you look down his career and look through his resume, there's not a lot of names there. When you think about it, there's not a lot of names when there should be a lot more. There should be a lot more stellar names. He was definitely avoided, but at the same time, you have to look at him, and he probably didn't take those risks when he should have done against Andre Ward. Andre Ward would have been a legacy-defining fight. If he had managed to win that would have put Golovkin on another level, because Andre Ward was unbeatable almost at 168. Nobody could touch him. So if Golovkin could have moved up and won that would have put all the resume issues to bed. And no one's denying that Golovkin was an incredible fighter, but unfortunately, he just didn't have the resume or the fighters in the division to do justice to his talent. That's why I think he needed to move up. But he stayed in his comfort zone. Leave your thoughts, guys. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let me know what you think. And guys, remember to please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.